In Part 1, I covered the history of the new pool house, including moving the original pool house, relocating the pool pumps, temporarily relocating the pump controls, and digging a new water line to the pool. I also gave you a glimpse of what the new pool house will look like. I got some of the plumbing under the slab done, or so I thought. I made a mistake in Part 1 that I fix in this one. Time for some tractoring. I removed the back form board so I can dump gravel further into the form space. First, I put a couple of scoops of dirt where the patio will be to help hold the concrete on that side during the pour, and build up where the patio slab will be poured later. I'm trying to avoid driving over the plumbing work. Next, a few scoops of gravel for the middle of the form. Then I spread it out with a rake and shovel, keeping it about a foot away from the form boards to have a nice thick footing. After reattaching the form board, I get one more bucket of gravel to hand fill some areas, and then use a screed board I made to make sure the gravel is 4 inches from the top of the form boards. that's all I can do until I change out that T for a Y, which was a dumb mistake, but I'm glad I caught it now. That would have caused me a lot of problems down the road. So pick that up tomorrow, change it out Monday, finish this gravel out, be ready to rock and roll. Here's a look at the my leveling board for leveling the top of the gravel. Just some scraps of 2x4 on the end, a 1/2 inch plywood to get my full 4 inches down, and on both ends. And there you have it. Scrub it back and forth till you know you have at least 4 inches. Well, the rain floated my plumbing out of the ground, but it's just as well since I have to change out that sanitary T for a proper Y. So I'm going to just take the whole thing to my basement, clean it up, and fit the new Y in there down there and bring it back. Since the rain floated my entire plumbing system out of the ground, and since I needed to replace this sanitary T with a Y for this thing to be trouble-free operation, I thought I'd just bring it down to my laboratory and work on it here and then take the whole thing back up there. Now, the mistake I made was using a sanitary T like this one in a horizontal position for the toilet to lead into the main drain pipe here. And as it turns out, a sanitary T is only supposed to be used in the vertical position for a horizontal flow going into a vertical pipe going down. The Y, however, can be used on its side to merge traffic, if you will, of waste going into the pipe and going that way. So my challenge is I've got to get this exact distance from the pipe, which it turns out quite by coincidence from the edge of the pipe to the center of this pipe is 12 inches. But since I'm coming off with an angle, I've already figured out that a 9 1/8 inch piece here, coupled with a new elbow here, when it's pressed all the way on, and don't know if you can see this or not, stick that on. When that's pressed all the way on, I'll get my 12 inches to the center of this pipe. And this will have to be fitted almost down here somewhere. I'll cut this out. I've got a coupler to put this together and bring this up to where it needs to be. That'd be the distance it needs to be to the 2-inch drain for the sink. All right, before I put this pipe in, I've got to put some gravel down in this end. You can see it's terribly, terribly mushy along in here, and I'm afraid it's going to settle out too much with concrete poured on it, on everything. I don't want the angles to shift. So I'm going to scoop some of this gravel into here until it's nice and firm, and then work it up to the angle. It's much better up here. We're pretty solid up there, but mighty gushy down along in here. So I'm afraid that end's going to sink more than I want it to if I don't beef it up a little bit. I make sure I have the proper distance for the toilet pipe from the side of the slab. Then I make sure I have a slight fall in the pipe between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch per foot of pipe. I glue the final piece of pipe in place and make sure it's level. One more load of gravel strategically hand-filled using the screed board as a level gauge. I slip a piece of foam pipe insulation over the water line for 2 reasons. First, to give it additional freeze protection, and second, to give it bump protection during the build. The insulation allows the pipe to wiggle rather than snap off at the slab, which would be the end of the world as we know it. Even if it did get broken, I could remove the insulation and have room to fix it. Add a little plastic sheeting for a vapor barrier and the form is ready for concrete. Stay tuned to see the concrete finally get poured, the pool house water valve box get installed, and to see me frame up the new pool house. If you enjoy these videos, please help me keep them coming by clicking the like button, commenting below, and subscribing. Thanks for watching.